Hey, have you ever felt like fears followed you your whole life, starting in childhood and then showing up as like perfectionism or that constant feeling of it's never enough? In this conversation, we're going to dig into why so many of us are stuck there. And if you've ever wondered, what's my way out? Well, I've built a free clarity quiz that will help you find your next step. And if you're curious, you can find the link in the description below. Just click it. But first, let's unpack it.
This is a common thing. You're not alone when I say this, but are you stuck? Let's say you have a goal and you're just not moving forward with it, but you don't know why. Best laid plans, you've got everything maybe even mapped out, got it up in your head as well, just not moving forward. Doesn't matter what it is. Could be a career goal, personal goal, maybe thinking about moving, whatever it might be. What is in your way? We are going to talk about that today. It's very relatable to all of us because a lot of the things we're going to mention, it's not just you. Almost the same things are in everybody's way, especially if maybe you're in the second half of your life and now you're at that crossroads where, what should I be doing? I'm not really sure. She has helped so many through coaching figure this all out. She has amazing reviews in what she does. She's an author, a speaker. She transforms, and it's so great to have her back with us. Lisa Begley's on the program. How are you doing today?
I am great, Steve. Thank you so much for having me back.
This thing that's holding us back, I think, and I want your opinion on this, it can show up in many different forms, but ultimately it seems like it always comes back to fear, whether we want to admit it or not. That's kind of the foundation for all of this. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. It's almost always fear, right? Fear of what is different for everybody, but it's almost always the fear of, will I be liked? Do I have enough to share? Do I have enough knowledge? For me, it was all the same. Like, what am I an expert in? I don't have a master's or a PhD. Maybe it's your imposter syndrome, maybe, which is a little bit of that, right? Maybe it's just, I want to jump into this relationship, but I'm afraid it won't work out. It could just really apply to almost anything we do. And it's typically fear. So that's a long answer to your question.
No, not at all. And I don't know if I heard this from you, but I'm going to repeat it because it was kind of woke me up. I know I heard in the last couple of weeks that there are only two fears that we are born with, and they are fear of loud noises and fear of falling. Those are instinctually placed in us to protect us. And I guess it goes back to evolutionary times where you hear a loud noise. Usually it's not good, typically. Fear of falling, think about cave people, navigating, got to be careful. You fall, that could be it.
Yeah.
All the other fears, we learned them along the way, maybe even or mostly during childhood. Did you ever hear that? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. We learn fear starting from birth and learning that. And I think a lot of our formative years, the childhood years 2 to 8, those are the years where we're really impressionable and things stick. We probably all have a story that a parent or an adult in our childhood said or did something that, really rocked us at our core, whether it was a comment, whether it was, I still talk about, forgive me, Mom, but here's the thing. My mom said to me, I'll never forget, we was a junior in high school and we were getting ready to plan a jazz ensemble trip to, the thought process was to go to Hawaii. Now we lived in Southern Cal at the time, was to take our tour this year to Hawaii. So I came home and I knew there was fundraising and I knew I'd have to raise my own money, etc. And I was so excited. And I said to my mom, I think we're going to go to Hawaii this year for a tour. Isn't that amazing? And she was like, why would I send you to Hawaii when I've never been to Hawaii? It bred this fear in me that like, I can't do everything I want to do. It kind of knocked me down a peg, if you will. I think that everybody has an experience like that, whether it's like something that's just said to them. It doesn't even have to be a parent. And actually, true belief is there's probably multiple times throughout our lives growing up that I know I said things to my children, and you learn and you grow. And the key is that you recognize it and you're able to like overcome it and move on from it.
Did you ever go to Hawaii though? Did you ever make it there?
We didn't go that year, but that had nothing, that was just all about like, okay, it got to be too much for us to coordinate. We went to Washington, Oregon that year. And I did take my kids to Hawaii years later after my mom passed. And we went to Hawaii for a week, just me and the three kids, and it was glorious.
And I've been doing a lot of reflection in the last year or so about certain things. One, my father came up in my mind, and my parents got divorced when I was young, so I didn't see him a lot. But I remember, pretty sure it was Christmas. Always wanted a camera, certain type. It wasn't even an expensive camera, but it was, golden for me. It was the Kodak X15.
Yeah.
Still remember it very vividly. He was on the couch, and I just turned around. I was like, "Hey, Dad," and I took a picture. Basically, I was doing a candid. I wanted to capture it. It was like, I guess my creativity was starting to bud at that point. And he looks and like, "Why did you take a picture? Yeah, I wasn't ready. And you're wasting film. Why did you take a picture like that?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry." I still remember it, and it was kind of deflating. And I was actually taking a picture to honor him, but catch him, in a candid kind of side. And then as I think about this more now, I went on to high school, and me and my friend Greg, and this is actually when my career began, doing video and taking pictures. We were like the pros at candid shots. Like we would take yearbook pictures, and we'd have the camera down by our waist, click, click. We get the best pictures, like they're real.
That's great.
It's almost like, I'm going to prove you wrong, Dad. I'm going to take some candidates there. But all of those things are in us, and we need to realize that they may have impacted us or still do. I heard this recently, that our brain is done emotionally forming all of that by 11 or 12 years old. That's it. You're done. That's it. And now you're an adult, and you're piloting off of all of that from your childhood. What do you think? Is that even possible?
I hope not.
I know, right?
I hope not. If my brain is done, then I'm done. I mean, I bank on, for me personally, I bank on the fact that I can keep continuing to fill my brain, to keep learning, to keep growing, both emotionally. It's a big deal, right? Emotional EQ.
The foundations that were formed up until age 12, that's what I often hear they refer to. And it's the child inside is, pulling the strings and pushing the buttons in your adult life. So you got to figure out what happened in your childhood, what's going on there. And even those little things, that maybe your mom taking the spotlight off of you and putting it on her, maybe that had an impact in some way. You think it might have?
Yeah. And I agree with you. I think that, there is that foundational, it's like I mentioned earlier, that formative years 2 to 8, that maybe what was happening. And you never know what someone is going through in the moment.
Sure.
And always given the benefit of the doubt, because you just never know why they responded the way they did, especially if it's out of character. I agree with you, Steve. I think there is that foundational emotional and base that we're given, and then it's up to us to expand it, do whatever we want to do with it, right?
It's amazing when you look back, because I had this realization even about my dad recently, that when I was maybe 8, maybe 10, he worked in an electrical plant, and I saw plans to build a little radio transmitter because I wanted to be on the radio even as a kid. So I sent it to him, and I was hoping he was going to build it. And then I would ask again, "Hey," and he didn't get. And I was thinking to myself, "Well, come on, you're in an electrical plant. Even if you didn't know how to do it, I'm sure you know people that you could ask." It's almost like the Christmas story. I just want the Red Ryder BB gun, and it never happened. And he didn't build it. In the last couple of months, I thank him. And you know why?
Why? Yeah, tell me more.
Because him not doing it pushed me to teach myself electronics. So then I built it a few years later. So then I built something else, and I became a geek. And that's how I essentially got my first job in broadcasting, and I've been doing it ever since. So much to the effect, in the studio, I wire everything. Every little wire. I could hire people to come. No, I enjoy it. If something goes wrong, I already got it. We go off the air, I'll take care of it. No problem. So I thank him for not doing it. So it's funny when you think back to it, we might harbor these, maybe negative feelings, less blessings and lessons. are all there.
about just having the time to reflect. And I think
Yeah.
that's important, giving yourself the time, prioritizing yourself time, even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes to reflect and just be still, I think is,
Yes.
and we don't do it. We don't do it. I'm definitely a, culprit of not doing it. It's like you have to force yourself to do it. And even when I sit down, I can't seem to sit more than a couple minutes.
But it's magical when you nail it. And
Mhm.
then maybe when you have a thought, epiphany, connection, whatever it is, but unfortunately, it's not easy. We got so many distractions, devices, side hustles, family, blah. Even in a men's group I'm in, one of the men there recently, yeah, very strong-willed, good man. He said, but kind of all over the place. And we said to him, "Have you actually sat with yourself in silence?" And he thought about it. He's like, "No, I never did." Well, you got to do that. Sit and do nothing because things will show up. Things will happen for you. Maybe meditation, learn how to do it, guided meditation, whatever it might be.
Yeah. I was just going to say, everybody goes to meditation as the thought process of being still, right? And really being like, there's the Calm app. Like, it's so beneficial for so many people, right? And it's great, even if you don't want to go to a class for meditation. But we always think it, and people kind of have this. I wouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people go meditation. I'm not doing that. Like,
Yep. Yep.
that's not my wheelhouse. I'm not doing it. That's weird,
Yep.
and unfortunately, it doesn't have to, we don't even have to coin that a meditation, right? We can just say, be still. Just take a moment to be still, whether it's just sitting on the edge of your bed for 5 minutes before you actually stand up and rise for the day.
And it's not easy. But once you get there, like I could close my eyes right now, even while we're here talking,
Yeah.
and I could focus on just something for a moment. I'm not here. I'm at, I guess, home base. It is the most oddest thing, but the coolest thing at the same time. It's almost as if, you got a place to go for a moment to reflect. It's wonderful once you get there. And I encourage everybody to do it. Amazing.
Yes, I agree with you so much because that's when the answers come. That's when you'll see the answers or hear the answers or feel the answers. So many of us, especially in the second half of life, and this is kind of my heart and what sort of started this whole idea of one brave step, right? Was because I believe it's never too late to rediscover your purpose. But we don't always all know what that is. You have to take that time and figure it out. And I mean, it's still a work in progress for me,
We all
right?
are.
Where
Yeah.
am I headed? Where am I going? And there's no beginning and end. It's not here and here. That's it, right? But life is too short not to be doing what you love. I recently connected with somebody who is just starting out, younger, right? Probably first half of life, starting out, and he's decided to leave his corporate job and go over here, or stay in the corporate job and evolve that part of the business. It's just so good when you know what it is, but it takes time to figure that out. And my heart was always to encourage people, especially in the second half of life, to take that one brave step. And if maybe it's just as simple, like we're saying, Steve, is to just sit still for 5 minutes a day and think about it and let it come to you, to give yourself clarity, find that connection, and it'll create the life that truly feels meaningful and purposeful to them, you know?
It is so cool. Like I was at the gym the other day and doing reps on something, and I just stared at a bolt on a machine. Woo alert. I felt like I was out of my body and it was
Mm.
looking down on me as I was doing it. But from that point forward on that one machine, and I was just doing like extensions, in terms of power, strength, like it was amazing. It was almost like an out of body experience. It was so weird. Different person. The weirdest thing, but like so beneficial. You have a great book called The
Mm.
Sock Drawer Philosophy. Why'd you write it?
This is it. It's to literally help people, like I said, to just let go. I do find the most significant women 50 and older seem to be really struggling with that, right?
Yeah.
Not that men don't. Don't get me wrong here. But I think we all do at some point in time of our life. I wrote it to help people just have a lighthearted way to, well, let me Can I just read an excerpt really quick? Would that be okay?
Please do.
Yeah. So, like, here's just something that I think, this will give you an idea of what the book really has to offer, right? So, I'm going to read it right out of the book.
Go for it. Let's go.
So, here's the paradox, right? While we think this perfect order protects us, it actually creates its own chaos. Studies have found that perfectionism is closely linked to chronic stress, anxiety, and even depression. So it's like spending hours, AKA organizing your sock drawer, while the rest of life demands your attention. And the apparent control that we gain often comes at the cost of genuine engagement with life's natural messiness, like we were talking about. The resistance to mess isn't just about tidiness, it's about fear. And the psychological cost of resistance is significant. Research has shown that perfectionists often struggle with lower self esteem and strained relationships. So, like a drawer so tightly packed with no new socks being able to fit, perfectionism, it doesn't leave any room for growth, for learning, for the beautiful chaos of genuine connection, right? So we become so focused on maintaining our perfect image, we just miss opportunities for authentic experience and meaningful growth.
That is all so amazingly true. I can say that because I rode that perfectionism train for a long time up until about 4 years ago. And it's this, and now I get the sock drawer philosophy. It's almost as if you say to yourself, well, let me make sure the drawer is right. Let me make sure this is right. Let me make sure this is right, because I'll feel like I got everything in order and organized. People will look at me in a more positive way. I need to make sure that's done before I do this. This may be taking the next step. Well, I got to make sure this stuff is in order. No, you don't. No, you don't. You think you do, but no, you don't. It's almost like I got to make sure this is ready to prepare me for the next big step. All you're doing is spinning your tires and wasting time. And I say that with love because I did it. I get it.
This is something we all kind of go through at some point in time in life.
It's so relatable. And not everybody's a perfectionist, but there are pieces from there that fit all of us.
Yeah.
And maybe provide answers why we're not moving forward. Like that, the office right behind me, if you look on the wall, is a newspaper clipping. I was 17 years old, wanted to be a cartoonist. They did a display at the library. Local newspaper did a story. My quote, 17, I'm a perfectionist. I knew it, but I thought that was a good thing. And as did for years, after decades after that, because you think, well, if I try to be as perfect as I can, it'll make me better in the eyes of other people. It'll make me superior, maybe, whatever it might be. But why do we do it? I believe it goes back to our childhood because we think we need to do it to make up for certain things that, maybe we experienced. Maybe you didn't feel like you were good enough because you got bullied or comment your parents said. Now I get the sock drawer philosophy. After doing laundry, I will take a sock and its mate and put them together, like fold them into each other so that I don't waste time where I could be doing other things trying to find the missing sock. So, but they're just thrown in the drawer now. But back in the day, everything was kind of perfect and let it go.
I love it. Same. My sock drawer is a big mess.
And it feels good too. And guess what? You can find what you need. Like I used to have t-shirts lined up, blah. Now it's like, I rifle through. Here it is. Okay. I know what's in there, but I don't have to have it perfect because we don't have to be perfect. Imperfection is perfection in a lot of ways. Your book is available on Amazon. I love how you call it a self-discovery guide, but you don't have to do it alone if you choose not to. You're also available to help people with coaching and more. Obviously, you can find it on Amazon, but going to your website, great starting point. There's a link there too. What's your website, Lisa?
Yeah, it's just one brave step, all lowercase, all run together.com. Just onebravestep.com, and everything is in there. It has some free resources for you, some quizzes to help you maybe sort of dial into where you're at in life. And you can find the sock drawer philosophy there. You can contact me and reach out with any questions. I'd love to be there for you.
I love all of this. Thank you for what you do and your passion. Totally shines through. And website's great, the book's great, and looking forward next time we get together.
Thanks, Steve. Me as well.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.